things happened. You know, I was kind of like in my hoe phase. You know, some of you bitches know what a hoe phase is, right? I was going through a hoe phase, right? Anywho, so I mean, this guy, we go home, you know, we mess around. Well, then the next morning, he asked me, he says, do you know how old I really am? And I say, no. I'm thinking, well, you're clearly got to be older than 21 because you're in a bar that you had to be 21 and older. Well, he confided in me that he was 19. And he got into the bar with a fake ID. And see, that's the story that I told months and months and months ago. But see, Megan went live today and she told everybody that I slept with an underage person. Last time I checked, 19 is of age. And it wasn't until the next day that he told me his age, but he got into a bar of 21 and older. But see, now Megan is spinning this narrative, right? Right. But Megan went live today and told everybody that I slept with an underage a kid today. That's what Megan did today. That I slept with someone who was underage. Those are the lies that's Megan spewing on me. Those are the lies. Can you imagine Megan doing that shit? Can you imagine? Sure did. And I told this story months ago, but see, Megan thinks she's doing something. And Megan thinks that she's sharing this information because she's trying to slander my name. Right. She's trying to slander my name, and she's trying to paint me as if I slept with an underage person. Which is false. Which is false. It's actually crazy. Actually fucking crazy. Let me grab my vape pen. Hold on. And see, remember how yesterday I told y'all that it was going to be the same rinse, wash, repeat type shit, right? And the two women that I spoke on yesterday, because I've had enough of their shit. And, you know, their little minions that will follow them around, you know, because, you know, they have no other different personalities besides to go sit with these people every fucking day and feel like they're fucking important, right? But here you've got Megan, once again, telling an old story. And I think I heard someone say yesterday, why does she keep saying not talk about it, but she keeps bringing up the past? Once again, Megan, that's what you keep doing. Mallory, that's what you keep doing. I mean, Mallory, I was on my sneaky account and I heard you play a recording of me. That happened months ago, which has already been addressed. So I don't know what it is that you think that you're doing. Who's heavenly? Who's heavenly? So if you have Megan out here, oh, you're fine. So if you hear Megan out here showing a video and telling everybody that I slept with an underage child, which I didn't, or a kid, they were of age. And I know that you're looking for that clip because I think you mentioned it today that you were wanting to find the clip. I think I've said multiple times how old he was. And how is that relevant? Do you think that story, and honestly, Megan, that's when I was 30. I'm going to be 44 next month. That was over 14 years ago. 14. You know, just like when Mallory started talking about her catfish story that happened when she was, what, 24? Mallory's, what, like 35, 36? It's weird. It's really fucking weird. But anywho, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. And you will never, ever, ever dim my light. You will never, ever dim my light. Not for another day, not for another second. I I am literally, I'm literally sitting in my apartment kitchen right now, and I am so proud of how far I have come in just these past few months. I am so happy and content in my life. And I cannot, I did the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through a really, really, really tough time last year. Probably the hardest time of my life that I went through last year. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to survive it. I didn't think I was going to get through it. I was struggling more than what people even realized. You know, every time I went on live and I was laughing and I was joking and I was being all, you know, or I was going, you know, losing my shit and screaming and hollering, I was in manic episodes. I was losing my ever-loving fucking mind. I was dealing with anxiety and depression. And then at that time, I was dealing with undiagnosed borderline personality disorder. Which, by the way, Mallory, I love that you have gone on this app and you have spread misinformation and you're telling people that's not what I have. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I wouldn't wish this diagnosis on anybody. I wish that I would have gotten diagnosed with it when I was younger. But see, the generation that I was born in, see, mental health wasn't a big thing, right? Our parents just told us to deal with it, right? When we were sad or, you know, angry or upset, you know, we were just told to get over it, right? But, you know, it's taken me a lot of things in my life that I've had to go through, right? A lot. Abandonment issues in my life, relationship issues in my life. And I struggled for years, y'all. I struggled for years. And I didn't even know I was struggling. I didn't even know I was struggling. I didn't even know I was that far deep in my mental health and I was struggling that bad. I was trying to deal with it. I was coping with it the best way that I could, but I didn't know what I was actually dealing with. And I will say, since I've turned my life around. I've changed my environment. I've changed my place, my space, where I'm living, what I'm doing for a living. I feel like for the first time in my 43 years of life, I can actually fucking breathe. And I don't need strangers on the internet to tell me who I am as a person. I don't need people to sit here and judge me when I have been my own worst critic in life. I don't need complete strangers on this internet who I am never going to meet in real life. Now, there are a few that I am very close with that I would consider, honestly, I would consider them my oldest sisters. They have been my rock. They have been there with me at my lowest of fucking lows. And I love the friendship that we have because we don't have to air it out on TikTok. You know, my friendship with this select few of people that I have, I love that when we talk, when we video chat, it's just us. And I love that. I love that I don't have to get them in a box in here and air out our friendship. And before, I used to just tell everything about my life, right? Not everything, you know, but I would sometimes give out a little bit more information than I should have, right? Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. But I am learning that in order for me to have the peace that I want, and I want to continue to have in my life, I am learning to keep certain things sacred and secret in my life. And the fact that some of y'all are running with shit, and y'all are spreading lies, you're running with the lies, you're rehashing old shit over and over and over again, all because you think you're going to destroy me. You think you're going to affect me. But in all actuality, it's made me stronger. It has made me realize that this app doesn't matter. It never did. It never has. It's a thing that passes time. It's a place where you can go, whether you post videos or you go live. You can just either be yourself or you know, if you want to chit chat with complete strangers or laugh or do whatever it is that you want to do. But I think what really bugs y'all the most, all these people out here that say they hate me so bad, that have done some of the most vile and disgusting shit to me, but yet they turn around and they're the victim, right? But they've never asked themselves, what is it that I've done to Shannon to hurt Shannon? Was there any role, is there anything that I did to Shannon that hurt her? But no, everyone expects me to get into a box and hold myself accountable for your hurt fucking feelings. But nobody has ever gotten to this box and has truly apologized for some of the vile and disgusting shit they have done to me. And you know, another thing, Megan, you literally told everybody that I lied about my attempt last year. And then it was said that I admitted to it on a live. Please play the clip. Please play the clip where I admitted that I faked my attempt last year. And I know that you guys want to say it's an attempt. For me, I just wanted to sleep. I was tired. I had an old bottle of Ambien, right? That I didn't like because I didn't like it the way it made me feel. And so I just threw it in a drawer one night. I just threw it in a drawer and I left it there. And last year, after I was being harassed and stalked and ridiculed day in, day out, while all trying to put a smile on my face, trying to pretend like I was happy, I was slowly dying inside. I was in a very toxic, unhappy marriage that was going to shit. So not only dealing with things in my own personal life, I was dealing with things online. Now, why I allowed all this shit online to affect me the way that it did, I don't know. But it affected me. It affected me. And as you all know, Mallory and I, we've had our moments. And Mallory just wouldn't let up. Mallory just kept going and going and going. Live streaming me, talking shit on me. I was already dealing with a stalker at that time, an ex-mod that was doing some absolute foul shit to me. And then, of course, Mallory had to chime in, right? She had to chime in. And I will never forget that night. And I don't know if anybody's live streaming, whether it's Mallory, Megan, whatever. I remember that I had logged onto my second device and I saw that Mallory was live streaming me. And they were all just being horrible and saying nasty things about me. And I remember I was so defeated, right? I don't know Pierce Morgan, I don't know you. I was defeated. I don't know. I was in a dark place. I can't remember, it was 27 or 28 Ambien, and I drank 2 tall boys. And in about 30 minutes after I took it, I realized I had fucked up. But then I was so out of it, and so, between the alcohol and the pills, I collapsed. Right? And ever since then, ever since that I went through that, ever since that I have talked about it, I have discussed it, people have picked apart that story. They have told everybody that the picture that I had taken while I was at the hospital, that I faked it, that I stole the hospital gown. I either bought the hospital gown, I stole the hospital gown. They said I took the picture in my home. Rumor was spread that I put a cheese grater on my face. Then I was told that I need to show my medical records. Then I was told that I wasn't on a hold long enough. But you know, I spent my 43rd birthday in a mental health hospital for a few days. And I've had a lot of people mock me. You know, I've had a lot of people post pictures of me, dissect it. And I remember somebody wrote in a chat or in a comment section one day, if there's not a toe tag, it didn't happen. Megan has shown that picture multiple times. A lot of people have. And you know, I don't talk about it a lot. I don't bring it up a lot. And I don't because I didn't even know how to process it myself. Because the more that I think about it and the more that I thought about it, I realized how serious that was. And how bad that could have ended for me. But see, I at the time thought Megan was my friend. I thought she was somebody that I could confide in and I could reach out to. And I needed somebody at that time to help me. And see, she was on the outs with Mallory at the time. And she was so mad about it. And then Megan ran the narrative, and then she told everybody that I said that it was Mallory's fault. And then I said that it was Dana's fault, and it was not the one's fault, Mikey's fault. I will say that Mallory was not the contributing factor that night when I did what I did. Even though that's what people are running with, and that's what Megan and Mallory and everyone else is saying, that I put the blame on Mallory. No. What I did say and what I have said is Mallory was the straw that broke the camel's back that night. She was the one. I felt like that night I was like standing in a boat, right? And I felt like I had a cinder block tied to my ankle with a rope. And I feel like that night when Mallory was doing what she was doing, I feel like that's just what really pushed me over the edge. And but people have taken my mental health and they have absolutely scrutinized it and have ripped it apart. And it took me a lot to get where I'm at today. You know, I had to, I made the decision, not my ex-husband. I made the decision to get divorced. I was not happy. I was not in love. I was with a man that had become verbally abusive, that had become physically abusive. It wasn't like that through our whole relationship, right? But it was getting to that point, and it was getting very nasty very quick. And I was at my wit's end. You know, but I have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations in my life. I've dealt with a lot of drama on TikTok, which to this day, I don't know why I allowed it to affect me the way that it did, which I'm no longer going to allow. Because you're no longer going to have access to me. Now, you may be able to talk shit on me and go on your platform and run your life and run your narrative and say the most vile, disgusting shit about me and spew all your lies and all your hate on me. But I know what I've been through. And I'm in quite a bit of medical debt because of that last year. Some of my closest friends, have seen, the proof that you guys want me to show on my green screen. You want to see my medical records. You want to see my hospital date. You want to see all those things, right? But you will never get that access to me. It's not like you want me to shit. It's not like if I show the proof on my green screen, it will get you to shut the fuck up and to leave me alone. It'll just get you something to pick apart and tear apart. But you know what? It made me realize that after everything that I've been through, no matter what, it will get better. It'll get better. And it has. You know, I've been married and I've had husbands. Lord knows I've had them. But you know, out of all my marriages, not a single one of them was a soulmate. They were never my soulmate. I was running from my problems and I was going from relationship. Instead of fixing me, I thought being with someone new would fix it. But you know, I have finally, in my 43 years in my life, I have not only found my best friend who has been there since day one, who has rode this wave with me from the start and has never wavered, has never given up on me, has never judged me. When I was at my lowest of lows, they were there for me. And I know that some of y'all love to mock me, and y'all like to make fun of me, and y'all like to make fun of the fact that I'm divorced, and you like to make fun of my, my life that you know nothing about. You like to spew things about my family and my kids, and you like to run with a narrative and run with a story that you don't know. But I will tell you that not only have I found my best friend, I have found my soulmate. I have found someone that connects with me on such a deep level that I don't have to hide who I am. I don't have to try to be a chameleon and mold into what I think they want me to be. They allow me to be authentically myself. And I wish, if I could redo my life again, I wish that I could have met this person that I'm with now, and I could have met them earlier in life so I could love them longer. And I have never been more at peace. I feel like for the first time in such a long time, this dark cloud that has been hovering over me is gone. I have removed myself from people that were allowing toxic things and situations to still occur in my life. And I haven't handled things perfectly. I haven't always done things the best way. I don't claim to be perfect. I don't claim to be this big, bad, hard bitch. But I'm at a point now, you don't get to, you don't ever get another second or a minute to speak to me again. You're going to have to watch me, but you don't get to speak to me. You don't get access to me. And I have never felt more free from getting away from people that were being nothing but toxic in my life on here. And I am proud of myself because I did it. See, with Megan, it was kind of a yo-yo effect. Every time I tried to step away from Megan, she would do something nasty to me. And then, we'd get back in again. And then I would finally be enough with her shit. Then I would take a step back. And then Megan would go at it again. Right? Because, see, Megan has never been able to just leave me alone. She's never just been able to just walk away. And see, I have apologized for what I've done. I've apologized to what I did. I forgive myself. Now, however you decide to take that apology and however you want to run with it, that is on you. But I am washing my hands of the situation. I'm washing my hands. I'm washing my hands, and I am realizing I cannot control how you react. I'm going to control how I react. But what I will not do is I will not allow these people to go into boxes and talk about their mental health. And they talk about how they care about people's mental health. But in the same aspect and in the same breath, these people that are sitting there talking about mental health are literally trying to break mine. It is apple pickle pie. It is. And I just know for me that my circle has become so tight-knit. It has become so freaking small. And before, I thought I had to have all these friends and all these people like me. And hell, even at times, I didn't even like myself. But yet I'm trying to convince these people on the TikTok that they need to like me. But at my lowest of low, I didn't even like myself. Right? But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pretend like I want to fuck with you bitches. I don't want to pretend like I want to be your fucking friend. And that's why I say, now, if I see certain people that come into my life, and I know that you're hanging out with the people that are being nasty and ugly to me, even though you may have never said anything bad to me, I don't even want you in my life. I don't even want you in my space. Because if you can sit with people that can destroy people's mental health and that can post people's pictures of their attempt, they can post pictures of DV photos, they can pick apart everything in your life because they want to deflect from the bullshit that they're doing on this app and they want to put it on other people. You want to sit with. Go sit with them. Go support them. Go throw your tiny dinos at them. Go throw your galaxies at them. Go be there. Go sit with that mass of people. But that's not who I want with mine. I don't care if I have 10 people in my life. I don't care if I have 50 or 100 people in my life. If I want to go live and I want to play music, I'm going to play music. If I want to go live and I want to sing, I'm going to sing. If I want to get on here and talk about my perfumes and talk about the things that I'm doing and the things that I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. But I am no longer going to allow people to come into my space and disrupt my peace. Because I have worked so hard to get where I'm at today. I have survived so much in my life. And I've done it on my own. I've been on my own since I was 18. But you know what? I don't whine and cry about it. I'm not going to get on this app and talk about it every day, all day. Because I want people to feel sorry for me. Talking about it is therapeutic for me. Because my problem is I tend to hold things in. So I told myself when I was going to go live tonight, I was going to clear the air. I don't claim to be a perfect person. I don't claim that I have handled things in the best way. I know that I allowed things to get to me and to hurt me. But I will tell you, the day that those people started talking about my daddy, my deceased dad, and making threats about summoning him from the grave and talking to him or pretend to talk to him, I lost so much respect for so many people. Some people who I thought were decent. I never want them in my space again. Ever. And you know, Mallory, I know that you played the clip of me, of what I did to Mikey, when me and Mikey were in the thick of it several months back. And I've owned up to that shit. I've apologized to him for it. And he apologized to me. And you know what? Now that I look back at all of it, all the shit that him and I went through, it was so stupid. It was a back and forth bullshit game. And it should have ended a long time ago, but it went too far. And we both realized it. But you know what we did as adults? We talked. We talked to each other, and we decided to apologize and move on. And we have. And I'm proud of myself for doing that. And I know a lot of people were upset because I decided to, you know, forgive him. But as he did me. Because I did some fuck shit to him too. Things I'm not proud of. But you know what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit in here and I'm not going to make excuses for it. You know, I'm not going to say, well, I did this because of that. You know, I did it because at that time I was a shitty ass person. And I was handling things in a shitty fucking way. But you know what? At least I can sit here and I can own up to it. At least I can say I was wrong without a but behind it. But I will tell you that a lot of you people that sit in these boxes and tell people to apologize and to hold themselves accountable is crazy to me, because the same people that are telling people to hold themselves accountable, they don't even hold themselves accountable for their behavior. And people keep telling me, Shannon, you need to change your behavior. You need to change your ways. But yet you're still going live every day and you're still behaving the way that you're behaving. So who gives you a right to tell me how to fucking act or talk? You know, you'll never, you know, I know that people think that they can control people on this app, but nobody will ever control me. And you know, there's three people, and they know who they are. There's three people. And one of them being the absolute love of my life, I will respect his opinion every day, all day. Even when I'm called out, right? Even when I'm told that maybe I should have handled it differently, or I shouldn't have done that. They do it with kindness, and they do it with respect. And they don't do it with hatefulness. As the same thing with the two ladies that are in my life that have helped me in the darkest times of my life. They have literally pulled me out of the fucking trenches. Even at times when they wanted to give up on me and they wanted to walk away from me, you know, we took some time apart for a while, and we all just kind of took a breather. But what we ended up doing is we ended up talking and hearing each other out. And we're stronger now than when we ever were. And I know that a lot of you guys think that I don't have anybody standing in my corner. I know that a lot of you guys may think that I don't have anybody, that I don't have friends. I do. I have friends that matter. I do. I have friends that matter. And I will tell you that, you know, at one point in time, Jana and I, you know, me and Jana, we went through a little rough patch. And, you know, we respectively just, we parted ways from each other, right? She was upset. I was upset. She had said some things. I had said some things. But you know what? We gave ourselves time and space. And then I realized, because like in real life, to me, Jana is the type of person that I would want in my life in real life. Like if Jana lived close to me, if she lived in my town, she is someone that I would want to go grab a coffee with. She's someone that I would want to go hang out with. You know, same thing with Whitty. You know, y'all's opinions about Whitty might be indifferent, or y'all may have negative things to say about her, but, you know, I have gotten to know her because instead of listening to what other people have to say about her, I finally got to know her for myself. Instead of me being a judgmental asshole, which I was in the beginning. But I feel like that Whitty she is a free-spirited woman. She has a personality that is gold. And, you know, she's easy to talk to. And I love that. And out of all the bullshit that I've been through on this app with a lot of people, honestly, I would go through it all over again if it meant that I had the people that are standing in my corner still standing in my corner. And if I wouldn't have not gone through the things that I've gone through in my life, I would not be where I'm at today. You know, I feel like my life has just been kind of a stepping stone, and it's taken me a long time, but I am finally, I feel grounded. I feel at peace. I don't feel like I'm just going through the motions in life. I want people to genuinely want to, if you want to be in my place and my space, it's because I want you to want to be here. I don't want you to be in here because you want to troll or because you want to be hateful, you want to be mean. Leave me alone. Go live stream someone else. Go talk about someone else. Go rip someone else's mental health apart, but you're never going to tear me down again. And I will say that, Megan, there is nothing you can do or say about me that will ever affect me. I know you. You're predictable. Your MO is predictable. How you handle situations, how you handle everything. Just like this morning, when you flew off the handle this morning. You flew off the handle. And then you went and spewed lies and told everybody I slept with an underage kid. But it's okay because you can do no wrong, right? But at least I can sit here and own up to my shit. But I will never, ever, ever explain myself to another person on this app. I am a grown-ass adult, and I do not owe people a conversation, especially strangers on the internet that can't be nice, that can't be kind. If you're going to be rude, and then if you're the type of person that's on that fuck shit side, don't ever think you're going to come over here in my box and give me any type of advice when you don't even listen to your own advice. And Blue, I'm going to address you. You know, you have gone around on this app and you have created so much drama. You have hurt a lot of people. And everybody, you know, and you have apologized, but then you keep hurting people. And then you apologize and you keep hurting people. And then you go and then you tell everybody, oh, you pull your whole mental health act. And then you have everybody being worried about you. See, when I did what I did last year, I told nobody. Nobody knew how depressed I was. Nobody knew how sad I was. Everybody saw me laughing and, you know, maybe coming unhinged. But, you know, I never talked about my mental health. I never talked about how hard I was struggling. You know, because when people truly are at their lowest of lows, they don't tell anybody. And that's what happened. And I wish I would have never even told anybody what had happened. I wish that I would have just went off the app for a while and I would have gotten myself fixed together. And I thought, and I should have just gotten my mental health together, and I should have just quietly just exited for a while. But me being a dumb bitch, I thought I had people on here that actually gave a shit. A select few truly gave a shit because they're still in my corner. But the ones who I thought were my friends, the ones that I thought that cared, have done some pretty vile, disgusting shit to me. And we all know the internet's forever, right? We all know that that TikTok is a digital footprint, YouTube is a digital footprint, Instagram, Facebook, it's all a digital footprint. But to you individuals that are out here that are doing the same shit that you were judging me for, right? You were judging me for acting the way that you're still continuing to act. And yet you're telling me that I need to do better. But I have been. But don't you dare sit here and say that you care about someone's mental health and then in the same breath get in a box and mock somebody's attempt on their, you know. And I want to say, you know, people say it was an attempt. I made a very irrational decision that night. Because deep down inside, I don't think it is that I wanted to do anything to myself. I think I was just exhausted and I was tired and I was depressed. And, you know, being under the influence at that time of alcohol, I didn't realize how much I took, you know. Thankfully, I was able to get most of it, vomit most of it out. Had to have my stomach pumped. But see, now people wanted me to show pictures of my hospital band. They wanted me to show pictures of my medical records, my hospital stay. But hey, Mallory, when you were talking about your essay story, right? The essay story that happened to you when you were 24 years old. See, when you told that story, Mallory, you expected everybody to believe you, right? You expected everybody to feel sorry for you and to, you know, empathize with you. But see, your story only matters because it's your story, right, Mallory? Because it's what you went through. But it's okay for you to mock something that I went through that was a very dark time in my life. And the same goes with you, Megan. And don't forget, Megan, who stayed up all night long that night when you called me bawling and crying because you thought your husband was going to die. A lot of those women that are sitting over there with those boxes with you every day, you didn't call them. You didn't text them. No, you called me. But I just realized that the more I was sitting with you and the more that I was around you, I realized that it was not bringing out the best in me. It was honestly bringing out the worst in me. And that's why I walked away from you, Megan. It's like when your ex-misfits walked away from you. It's because they were tired of it. They didn't want to deal with it anymore. And then when I decided to walk away and be done, you couldn't handle it. And then, you know, I was sitting with another person that I probably had no business sitting with either. And I had to walk away from that. You know, I've had to learn some hard lessons on here that people on TikTok are not your real friends. And if you happen to make just one or two, three, maybe genuine good people, count yourself very, very, very lucky, very blessed. Now, I'm not talking about people that just screen record for you or, you know, do the dark, deep shit or because they want to be snakes for you and get information for you. See, those are not your real friends. Those type of people that you allow to sit with you that do that type of stuff, that do things on the back end, that, you know, deep dive into people's lives and help you dig up people's information, those are not your real friends. Those are just people that are like-minded like you, that want to do vile and disgusting shit that you just happen to get along with. But those aren't your real friends. See, it's taken me a long time to realize that I want people in my life to bring out the best in me, not the worst. And I've had to go through a lot. I've had to go through a lot of people, a lot of people who I thought were my friends, a lot of people that are now sitting with, you know, I'm going to call them my enemy, but they used to be my friend, and they used to say some pretty fucked up shit about you, but yet they still sit over there with you and support you. But at one point in time, they couldn't stand you. You know, and now me talking in the calm manner that I'm talking in, I'm sure people are going to say, oh, she's crashing out. She's crashing out. I could be talking in just a normal tone, and you guys may think this is a crash out. And I'm actually chill. I'm sitting here on my couch. I'm sitting in here drinking a Mountain Dew, eating a cheese stick. And I'm content. And I don't have one person in my box right now, and I'm okay with that. Because I don't feel like I need to entertain strangers in my box. Because we all know what drama does, right? Because if I were to, you know, like I did yesterday when I finally flipped my shit on Mallory, Megan, and Blue. Hi, Doc Mom. When I finally flipped my shit, right? That's when my numbers started, you know, getting big. But it's not because I had 137 people that wanted to watch me. They wanted to watch the drama. You know, that's what they want to see. That is what. So when you see these rooms that are filled with, you know, when Megan has 200-300 people in your live, it's you don't have 200-300 people in your comment section. You got a lot of window lickers, right? And even like with subscribers, right? When you go into these private lives and you hold these private lives, Megan, people aren't subscribing because, yeah, you may have got a few people that, you know, want to watch you because, you know, they say they're your friend, right? But a lot of people pay that $2.69 or whatever it is that they charge on TikTok. They pay it because they're nosy, because they just want to see what the shit you're saying, what you're talking about. It's not because they want to watch you. It's because they're nosy. It's because they want to screen record you so they can post it on YouTube, so they can talk about you. You know, I don't acquire gifts. I don't ask for gifts, tiny dinos. I don't ask for galaxies and unicorns, and I don't sit here and hold battles and expect people to throw their hard-earned money on me. I want you to come in here and have a good time and shoot the shit, because this is where you want to hang out. And if you don't want to hang out, cool. But I'm not going to go live like I used to. I used to go live every fucking night. You know, for the longest time, I would say from August of last year till about January, February, March. What was about maybe March, April? TikTok consumed my life. It consumed me. And I'm at fault for allowing myself to do it to myself, right? But I just thought I had to keep up. And it was exhausting. And now, you know, I can go live and I can take a week off. I can take 2 weeks off. And I'm okay with that. I love it. There's times now where I'm on a different side of TikTok, because I'm getting a new dog. I'm getting a new puppy next month, right? And I'm watching all these videos and stuff, and I'm kind of getting prepared to have a puppy again. And you know, I'm trying to get back into my perfumes again, because I love perfume. I love perfume TikTok. And I'm trying to get on this other side of TikTok, and I love it. It's so peaceful. It's so nice just to go into lives or go watch videos that are fun, that I enjoy watching. And what I've done today is, there are some people that were live, and I don't even want to see that you're live. You know, I don't want to see some Ashley's lives. I don't want to see Petty. I don't want to see Holly Mae. I don't want to see Miss Unknown anymore. I don't want to see Megan. I don't want to see Mama Bear. I don't want to see anyone. And I'm blocking. You may have a sneaky account, but your main accounts, I'm blocking. I don't want to see you on my FYP. I don't want to see a live stream. I don't want to see a video. Because I don't care anymore. But what I will not do is I will never ever get on this app and defend myself against lies that other people are spewing. I don't care how mad Megan gets. And I will say this, Megan, and this is someone who is wholeheartedly, who knows how watch Beverly Puppy Playhouse, it's doggy daycare, and the dogs. I may have to check that out. I truly believe, Megan, I do believe that you suffer from some type of mental illness. I do. I do feel like that you are undiagnosed with something. I truly do. You have manic-like behaviors. You know why? It's because I once acted like you. I once had that look in my eyes where your eyes almost turn black. It's like your eyes are soulless. And if your friends truly cared about you, Megan, and you had friends that, because I'm going to tell you what, the friends that are standing in my corner, they knew that I was suffering from something. They knew I had something going on with me. They knew it. You know? They knew something deep down, there was a deeper issue going on with me in my real life. And they've had conversations with me about it. And that's what real friends do. Real friends do not encourage shitty ass behavior. And I'm proud to say that the friends that I have in my corner can keep me grounded as a person. You know, when they know that when they know that something that I've seen or I've heard has upset me, you know, it's don't go live. Let's talk about it. Let's do a video call. Let's text. Call me. Those are the type of friends that I have. But what you're not going to do is, if you can't get a hold of your own mental health and you can't put yourself in check, don't dare get in a box and talk about someone else's mental health. Don't dare try to rip someone else apart because you don't know how to deal with your own struggles in your own life. And I will say that, you know, Megan, if you had real friends that truly cared about you, you would seek some type of psychiatric help yourself. Everyone keeps telling me, oh, Shannon, you should go to therapy. You should be on medication. Well, I have been. You know, I've had to move. I've had to relocate, starting a new job, you know, trying to find, you know, a new doctors and stuff like that. But I'm self-aware that I will probably need to take medication probably for the rest of my life, you know. But I'm not in denial. But I truly believe, Megan, just because based on everything that I'm seeing, because since I have taken a step back and you continue to do the things that you do to people, I believe hurt people. I think that you do what you do because you play victim because you want people to feel sorry for you. You've never truly held yourself accountable for the things that you've said and you've done. And I'm embarrassed with the fact that I allowed myself to sit with you when you were saying some pretty disgusting things about people. And even though I should have spoken up, I should have said, no, that's wrong. We're not going to say that. We're not going to talk about that. And I remember, I even told you, remember that live when you called Queenie a black bee? Remember? And you were getting heat from that? And remember when I texted you and I told you that I didn't want that on my platform, and that we probably shouldn't be saying that, or you shouldn't be saying that. And I'm pretty sure that your response was, I don't give a fuck. You know? And that should have been my wake up call, because I remember that Queen E was trying to talk to me about it. But it's because I was so worried how you were going to react that's why I didn't really speak up about it. And I realized that I was going to put myself in a deeper hole, And I realized that sitting with you and being around you was more toxic. And I had people in my ear, and I had people in my life that were begging me to get away from you. They'd been begging me for months to step away. But see, they knew the things that you did every time I tried to step away. But I will say that no matter what you say, no matter how many times you go live, no matter how many times you show the same pictures over and over again, and you try to dissect them, it's just making you look like a shitty ass person. And I know that you think that everyone over there thinks that it's cool and it's funny, but you would be actually quite surprised at how many people have actually reached out to me just recently, Megan, and have said how disgusted they are with your behavior. And these are some people that I didn't think that even would want to message me. But they've actually, there's been a couple that have actually reached out to me and have actually said that they are sorry that you do these types of things to people. But they're afraid to say something to you because they know what you do to people, and they're afraid that if they speak up to you about it, you will try to hurt them. Thank you. Have a blessed day. And you're right, Dog Mom. We all need happiness in our lives, right? But we also need to realize that TikTok is not real life. It is an app. It is something that you can choose to open every day, or you can close every day. And I'm just choosing not to participate in it. And that's why today I was on my phone and I was just scrolling through, and there was just certain people that as soon as I saw their profile, I just blocked them. I just blocked their profile. And anybody who has ever sat in a box and has mocked what I went through last year, and who has sat in boxes while I have been doxxed, who has been sitting in boxes while someone that I care about, who is my friend, you doxed an innocent man that did nothing to you, Megan, and you literally admitted that the only reason why you did it is because you knew that it would affect me. And somebody who had never done anything wrong to you, Megan, you doxed his phone number, his address, his work truck, his Facebook, his phone number, all because you knew by doing that you were going to get a reaction out of me. And that is why you dox somebody. It's not because that person did anything to you. It's because you wanted to hurt me, so you doxed an innocent bystander, all because you wanted to get a get back at me. And no one has called you out on that. No one has ever gotten in that box and said, Megan, that was fucked up. That was wrong. You should shut this shit down. But instead, you got a bunch of sheep over there. You got a bunch of cowards over there who think it's okay and who thinks it's right. But, you know, nobody does any wrong. In Megan's eyes, she does no wrong. I mean, you just made a video the other day announcing your departure on TikTok. You literally had to go stay a night in jail because of the dumb shit that you have been doing on TikTok. You have allowed an app to affect your real life, to affect your family, all because of the entertainment of other people. And at the end of the day, and I hate that fucking saying, I hate it, but through it all, it ain't worth it. It's not worth it. Is having a misdemeanor or a felony worth it on your record because of a get back? And everybody can sit there and say, oh, Shannon, you shouldn't have done that to her. What you did was so messed up and so wrong. Why hasn't anybody ever asked Megan, what is the things that Megan has done to me that has been hurtful? Her talking about summoning my deceased father that passed away from blood cancer, and Megan knowing how much my dad meant to me, and Megan knew that when she was going to do that and when she was going to talk about that was going to hurt me. The fact that she was bragging about the fact that she was wanting to summons a man that is deceased because she thought it was going to be funny. But hey, everybody's excuse now is, well, you did this to her. No. That was after the fact. There was a lot of things that were set in motion. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you have screamed and cried because your daughter is being recorded in your lives, but yet you have her as a mod for you. And you don't just go live under subscribers when she's in your lives. She's in your lives all the time and you're not under subscribe only. Thank you. Have a blessed day. I appreciate that. He was a damn good man, I'll tell you that. But I will say that, you can't sit here and cry and be upset because you have a recording on YouTube of you and your daughter, but you allow her in your lives constantly. You allow her to talk and act in inappropriate ways on your lives. I mean, in a live, your own daughter in the background was heard yelling, "White power." That night with Queenie, when you called her a black bee, and I don't think that this has ever been called out. I mean, I know it has been by a few people, but you can't sit there and say that you care about how you're perceived or how your family's perceived when your own 12-year-old child was in the background yelling "white power" as you were calling a woman of color a black bitch. And it's always about, well, what Shannon did, not about your behavior, not about the things that you have done to other people, the things that you have done to me. And that's why anybody that sits over there and that supports you and that wants to continue to run their mouth about me, the day that I made that call, Megan, you might want to say that it was because I was mad. No, because I honestly felt like you needed a wake-up call and you needed to realize that maybe you're putting your own child in jeopardy and letting her behave in certain ways on the internet that could maybe affect her life, affect yours. And I'm not the only one that called. Should I have done it? And everybody says because I was hurt. I was fed up with you. I was fed up with your behavior. I was fed up with your bullying. I was fed up with you talking about my attempt. I was sick and tired of you showing that fucking picture of my face that I sent you. And then I told you what it was really about after the fact. But you didn't care, Megan. You didn't care. And you can sit there and play your Christian music in the mornings during coffee time. But honestly, I don't even know how you have the audacity to want to even play Christian music when you act the way that you do on this app. Exactly, Sherry. She's never been really held accountable. I mean, she's been, people have brought up the fact that she has said some racist statements and her racial slurs and everything else. But see, I feel like that I have gotten picked apart more than Megan has. I have gotten the wrath. I got wrath just for sitting with her, right? But I've been on this platform since 2020, and I've never said a racial slur on this app. I have never spoken on anybody, no matter your race or your color. I've never said anything racial. I've never made a get back or a comeback at somebody. Yeah, I've made fun of myself. I've called myself a cracker. I've called myself Caucasian. And the times that Megan did spew the things that came out of her mouth, I should have spoken up. I should have said something. But I also know what Megan does when you dare speak up, if you dare stand up to her. But Megan does not scare me. I think Megan is a very sad person. I feel like she projects her anger because I feel like deep down in her real life, she's suffering in her real life, and she projects that negativity onto TikTok because that's the only way she knows how to deal with it. And you may say, well, Shannon, how do you know that? That's how I was acting when I was at my lowest of low. I was projecting my anger and my frustration out on other people on TikTok. It's because I hated myself. I was miserable within myself. And when you think, and when you take a step back and you look at things with a clearer mind, you actually see how people are truly acting and behaving. And then when I look at it, I said, holy shit, that's how I was fucking acting. That used to be me in a box. I used to be doing that shit. And if y'all want to take one thing that I've done and y'all want to hold that over my head, and y'all want to think that that makes me the worst person in the world, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And another lie that you spilled, Megan, is you told everybody that I had called CPS on Josh and Ida. No, I never called CPS on Josh and Ida. I didn't do any of that. But the one person who did, and the one person that was doing vile and disgusting shit, was the same ex-mod that you allowed in your box to drag me for days. You remember Lila? You remember the one that made the Reddit page about me? Posted of my kids, my mom. The one that was sending me text messages with her 18-year-old friend, telling me they were glad that my dad was dead, calling me foul names. Those are the type of people you allowed in your box to attack me, all because I decided to walk away. And I'll tell you, and I'm not going to say this person's name, but she just recently had to learn the hard way. And she finally recently realized why it was I wanted to actually step away from Megan. And she finally had a big wake-up call, and she realized that sitting with Megan wasn't a good idea. And I think sometimes people need to take the blinders off, and they need to ask themselves if what they're entertaining or what they're participating in, would you do it in your real life? Would you want people in your real life knowing that this is what you're doing? Because at least I can sit here and I can admit that I was doing fuck shit and that I was saying some and saying some foul things. But you know what I've never done? I've never gone on here and I've never doxed someone's life. I've never doxed an innocent person. you know, I've never put someone's obituary on my page and pretend to summons a deceased person and think it's funny. I've never threatened to do that to anybody. And if you guys want to try to bring up that whole crystal shit and that whole situation, we've been past that for a really long time, and that was a big wake-up call for me with that situation. And on her part and on my part, there was a lot of regret in that. And we decided to forgive each other, but we decided that it was best if we just didn't be around each other. She doesn't wish ill will in my life. I don't wish ill will in hers. Because that's what people do, grown-ups do, is you realize it's best to just leave each other alone and walk away. But that's the one thing that Megan can't do. But I will say that I have come a very long way from what I used to be like. I'm human. I have breaking points. Sometimes I have to catch myself, and I have to realize that not every action deserves a reaction. And I can honestly say that I'm proud of myself for actually taking a step back and letting people just do their dumb shit. You said, I'm so glad I got away from her a year or so ago. Sorry. Well, I know what has happened to me. I know what I've been through, and I will be damned if I let some middle-aged 45-year-old woman who can't even take the time in her day to brush her hair, to make herself presentable, to wax her upper lip, ever go on live and have her bash or trash me. Megan does not have the audacity to talk about anybody's looks. And what I find crazy is that when Megan was with me and we were sitting together, right, and we were in cahoots, she never made fun of my hair. She never made fun of my looks. She never made fun of anything. She didn't have an issue with me. But it wasn't until, we had this falling out that now it's let's just say all the foul shit we can about Shannon, right? And it's all because she thinks it makes her look cool. Because she's with a group of people that want to trash and bash me. But see, behind the scenes, once again, Megan, there are people that have reached out to me privately and that are still sitting with you over there. And I will never tell you who those people are, because they have asked me not to, because they don't want you to go after them. But I've had several people reach out to me once again, and they have said that they are so sick of your behavior and how nasty you get with people. And they would love to be able to talk about it, but they know the vile shit that you do to people, that's the reason why they don't speak up. What did you say? She's projecting how she feels about herself. At least that's what I think. I do too. And I truly believe that she does need to see somebody. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I know what it is when I get manic. I know what it is when I have depression, anger issues. I feel like Megan can go from 0 to 100, and I know that she likes to blame it on the fact that she's a Scorpio. It has nothing to do with your sign. Your behavior has nothing to do with your sign. I would never do half the shit to Megan that woman has done to me. And then she has also done to people that I care about. And everybody says, leave the kids out of it, leave the kids out of it. But where's that energy when Megan doxed an innocent man, his address, his phone number, his work truck, And she put his 4 boys in danger. But hey, no one cared about that, right? It was all because it was all, well, let's just hurt Shannon, right? And it's also the fact that she's getting her own child into bullying adults. Exactly, Southern. I mean, our goal in life, right? You know, when you got kids, you want your kids to be better than you. You want your kids to be better versions. You want them to be better than you are in life, right? That's not something that I'm glad that my kids are successful. I'm glad that my kids, you know, aren't married yet. I'm glad that they're living their lives and they're not, you know, having kids at a young age like I did. I am so thankful and blessed that, you know, because my mom and my dad helped me raise my kids, that they are the best versions of themselves. And I can honestly say that my mom and my dad, having them in my life, helping me raise them when I got divorced from their dad, I don't care. You can throw that in my face and you can say that, oh, you didn't raise your kids. I had a village that has helped me raise them. And I'm forever grateful and blessed for that. And you will never, ever try to tear me down for that. Because I can honestly say that my kids are on a road and are on a path, a better path than I was at that age. And there's nothing you can do or say to me that will ever, ever, ever make me think differently about myself, because I wouldn't do it any other way. And once again, people's opinions about me on TikTok, you don't know what I've been through in my real life. So therefore, why should I give a fuck what you have to say about me when you don't even fucking know me? But I will say this to you, Megan, is that you are not being the best version of yourself, because the fact that she is acting, Stinky is acting just like you, that's not something that I would even actually be really proud of. I wouldn't be proud of the fact that my child was on the internet bullying grown adults and thinking it's funny. That's not something that I would be proud of. And I think that you got in a box a few nights ago and you cried and you yelled and you screamed because people had recorded your lives and had posted them on YouTube, and because your daughter was in those videos, but you didn't care before. So why do you care now? Is it because in those videos that there's evidence against you for the things that you've done and you said, and you don't want those videos out? Don't say it's for the kids, because you didn't give a fuck about Mike's kids. You didn't care about putting his kids in danger, did you? You didn't think about that. But see, once again, hey, you're free and clear to do all the foul, fucked up shit you want to do. And it's okay for you to put kids in harm's way. And it's okay for you to dox innocent people. And it's okay for you. I mean, you called a wellness check on me last year, Megan. And I don't think people even know that. Do y'all know that when Megan sent me that Alexa and that microphone last year, when I was in a live, she called the police department in my town and pretty much told them that I was going to off myself. And I had a wellness check done on me. And you know why I know that Megan did it? It's because I asked her. But yet Megan doesn't go real life. But see, Megan only had my address, and she was the only person at that time that knew my address, is because I gave it to her because of the Alexa. And this is before I was even doxxed. This was before my address was doxxed, because my address was not doxxed until December, and Megan did this before December. So, yes, Megan called the police on me and had a wellness check done on me last year. And I'm sure she'll go on live and she'll say, I did, I don't care. But she didn't call me. She didn't call my phone. She didn't text me. She didn't message me. She didn't check on me personally. No, she just straight up called the police department and told them I was going to hurt myself. And I literally was on a live when the police department knocked on my door. I've had my whole life exposed on TikTok, all because I decided to walk away from people. I walked away from Serena, Lila. She doxed my address. She started a Reddit page. Megan did a wellness check on me. Miss Unknown doxed me on Christmas Day. Florida Man doxed me. Bougie has talking about my daughter because that would hurt me. So everybody says that, you know, I've never given out anybody's address. And do you know that I've never doxed Megan's phone number? I mean, I know she probably wouldn't care. But you know, even when I was mad, even when I was upset, you know, I never doxed Megan's address. I never doxed her phone number. I never posted personal information about her husband. I never posted his criminal record. I've never talked about, you know, I never did any of that stuff to her, but she's done some foul shit to me. And everybody over there is just clapping. Everybody over there just thinks it's the funniest shit ever. But see, if I would have done half the shit that this woman continues to do, and Mallory continues to Blue, and Blue continues to do, I mean, Blue had a wellness check done on Witty. You know? And it's because, you know, people it wasn't done because of people care. It's because people want to wreak havoc in your life. You know, let's talk about that time where I showed that picture of the Google photo picture, and I was accused of showing CP, and multiple people called my police department. They received multiple emails and phone calls day after day after day. There was a live held with my home, well, I no longer live there, but with my hometown and the police department's number, and people were encouraging people to call and tell the police department that I was showing CP, and it was never CP. It was proven not to be CP, but all because people wanted to hurt me and people wanted to get me in trouble. They did the most. And then they did the most to Malibu on that. And I don't know why I just got a restriction for harassment and bullying, because I'm not harassing and bullying. I'm telling the truth. And I think it's crazy because this is a pretty calm live and there's no screaming and yelling, and I'm just out here telling the things that have happened, and people don't want to hear the truth because they're going to still run with their narrative and spread the lies that they do. And that's why I'm coming on my platform and I'm talking about it, because I am so sick of people bringing up shit that has happened months and months ago. Do you not remember I was there? Do you not remember that I was a part of it? Do you not remember that I've experienced it? You know, and it's like there's people talk, the same people that say to not go real life are literally sitting in lives and encouraging lives with people that do go real life. How many times has Florida Man gone on live and called random phone numbers in the middle of the night? How much information has Bougie looked up? How, you know, she had pictures of my home in her phone and was making fun of my home, all while she was sitting with me pretending to be my friend. Bougie was literally sitting in boxes with me, pretending to be my friend, and she had pictures of my home in her phone that she was sharing with people, talking mad shit about me, making fun of my home. And it's all because I just got sick of it and I decided to walk away. And people couldn't just leave me alone. And people just couldn't let me do my own thing. That they had to sit here and think they're going to rake me over the coals. But you will never dim my light. You will never dim my shine. I know what I've done. I've known what I've participated in. I've known what I know the things that I've done. I don't sit here and try to minimize it. I don't sit here and have a notebook and say, this is my accountability live, and shed the fake tears. But I've always been the one that's been able to get in a box and apologize. Even when the people that have done foul shit to me, I've always been the one that's been able to get in the box and say, hey, I'm sorry. And then when you do say you're sorry, they still shit on you. So that's why I'm never going to get in a box, and I'm not going to apologize for another thing that I've ever done on this app. And everybody says, when I had my breakdown, right? And I don't know if y'all remember when Kendra came up in my live, and I was having a really hard time that night. And, I took what Kendra said, right? I did. I took what she said, but everything was still new to me, right? I was still figuring out how I wanted to handle it and everything else. And I didn't handle it the right way. And I did take some time off, but I didn't take enough time off, according to some people. And then everybody was saying that I shit on Kendra. No, I didn't shit on Kendra. And everybody took everything so personal. But, I've never gotten up here, and I've never, I know that people have feelings. I know that people go through rough times, but I would never in a million years, even when Monster, right? Even when Monster, when she went live and she held that accountability live and she was saying she was sorry and all those things, right? And in her notebook, she said that she apologized to me. She said she wanted to apologize to Shannon, and I'm sorry for all the mean things I've said. And then it wasn't even 2 weeks later, she had a falling out with the Pastor Petty side, and then she started talking shit on me again. She started talking about my looks. She started making fun of me. She started calling me names. And she held a whole 4 or 5 hour live talking about how she wanted to change her behavior. And then 2 weeks later, she has a falling out on Petty's side, and she's sitting back with Megan and Florida Man and Bougie. And now she's back on the hate train with me. I don't know if you guys notice, but I don't make videos like I used to. I don't make hate videos. I don't make videos about people anymore. I don't make memes about people anymore. Because it does nothing really. And the only reason why people make videos going after other people is because they want attention. They want people to be like, oh yeah, good for you, go after them. They deserve it. But I know deep down inside, you guys can't act like this in your real life. You can't. And the fact that some of you get on this app from sun up to sundown, and you're in boxes all day long, every day, all day. See, I work, right? I work for a living. I can't stay on TikTok 10 hours a day. Now before, on my days off, when I had my days off, oh my God, there were times I would be on live for hours. And now that I look back at it, I look at all the time that I wasted, and for what? to run my mouth, to talk shit. And I will say, you know, when me and Not the One were going at it, you know, when him and I were going back and forth, and I was, you know, just, you know, being ridiculous, I realized that it was all pointless. You know, even though he did, you know, show pictures of my house and do all those things, you know, I did shit too. And I was able to step back and realize that I did some shit that hurt him too. So I couldn't, that's why I dropped that protection order against him. Hi, Sunshine Bow. That's why I dropped that order of protection, because I actually stepped back and I realized that I did some mean shit to him too. And my behavior wasn't always the best. You know? And when I decided to end it, and when I decided to, you know, I was getting ready to move, I was going through a divorce, I didn't want to deal with it. And that's when I ended it all with him. And you know what? I felt relieved when I did. Because when him and I actually had a conversation, and we had that conversation on Instagram, and he said what he needed to say, and I said what I needed to say, and we both, you know, genuinely apologized to each other, and we just said, hey, let's just both move on. That's what we did. You know, he hasn't spoken of me, and I haven't spoken of him. And I don't care what he has done or he has said to other people. He hasn't done it to me. And I made a promise to him, and he did to me, and I'm going to keep that. You know, he doesn't have to like me. I don't have to like him, but we have this mutual respect that we wanted to move on, and that's what we did. And that's why I don't understand. That's what Megan can't do, or Mallory can't do. You know, I just hope that some of y'all actually open your eyes, and maybe, you know, you just kind of like see maybe some of the shit that I've been put through, and some, you know, and maybe say, well, maybe that's why she acted the way she did, or, you know, maybe that's why she popped off the way that she popped off, you know. But when you have people that are getting up in boxes talking about my mental health, telling me that I am not diagnosed with what I have, making fun of me, mocking me, showing pictures of my face, lying on me, all because you think you're going to hurt me. I will never allow anyone on this app to let me feel the way that I did last year. Thank you, Seven. I appreciate that. And that's why I'm telling y'all now, you know, even like I said, when Whitty goes live or Jana goes live or whatever, you know, I am making the conscious decision with myself in order to protect my peace, protect my space. I don't want to interfere with anybody else's live or make anyone else feel like, you know, they have to block certain people because I'm in their live. You know, if those people want to come into my box and they want to hang out over here, that's fine. But from here on out, when I go live, it's going to be on my own platform. And that's just where I'm going to keep it. And I think that it's just best for everyone. And that way, you know, when, you know, I go live, I don't have to worry about, you know, people coming into other people's live and attacking me. And then they feel like they have to block somebody because of me, you know. You know, you could sit with whoever you want to sit with, but I personally am just not going to surround myself with people that sit with shitty people. Because if you are willing to sit with shitty people and you are willing to engage in behavior where people are being destroyed, their mental health is being destroyed, people are being doxxed, people are being cruel and mean, all because they just feel like they need to get a get back. I don't want to sit with anybody that does that or participates in it. And I don't care if you're in the box, or I don't care if you're in the comment section. You know, silence is compliance. And I'm kind of standing by this new thing in my life. I'm asking myself, the people that I'm allowing in my life, are you going to compliment it? Are you going to complicate it? Have a good night, Southern. But, you know, I want people that are going to be in my life that are going to compliment it and not complicate it. And if you're going to come in here and if you want to talk shit on me in other boxes or in lives or on your own platform, go for it. Have fun with it. If that makes you feel, if you can wake up to the next day and you can say that makes you feel like a good person and you think that puts you in a good light, run with it. If that's what you want to do it. But as far as it goes with Mallory and Megan and Blue, stay the fuck away from me. You are getting to the point where it's redundant. It's ridiculous. And it's pointless. It's pointless. But with that being said, I appreciate everyone who has been in here tonight. You know, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, sorry this hasn't been like a drama-filled live and not a lot of people were in the boxes, but I just wanted to come up here and discuss a few things and talk about a few things. And just realize that you don't need to sit in a group of people. You know, I know that some people, it might feel good to be able to feel part of a group and feel like you fit in, but be a free thinker. Think of things on, you know, think about things and ask yourself if you would, you know, participate this in real life, you know. Just ask yourself if what you're doing on TikTok, would you actually participate in something like that in your real life? And I think a lot of y'all, the answer would probably be no. But, yeah, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to attempt to put another dresser together. I need to get that done. So, yeah, I'm just going to turn on some music and put this dresser together and, you know, enjoy my night. So, once again, I appreciate you guys coming in the live. And, anyway, I don't know when I'll be live again. I might take the rest of the week off. Hell, I might be gone for 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm going to be kind of more sporadic when I go live. So, I guess I'll just see you guys when I see you, and I'll just see y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good night.